the meditation that we practice today is a farce, absolutely. Because meditation is not understood correctly. If it cannot cure the ills of your day-to-day life, it is not meditation.
So is it really easy to lead a tranquil life?
It's easy if you're serious. If you change the outlook about yourself and about the world, everything comes to an end. Actually, stress wasn't the reason for me to become a monk. I became a monk by choice. To learn Vedas, best ashram is called the Grahastha ashram. शादी में रहते हुए, फैमिली में रहते हुए सीखना ही सही जगह है. We don't need a spiritual journey at all. हम ही है nirvana. God is not at all controlling you in anything of you. So the SRT is playing all the mischief in you. All the good in you is all done by the SRT. Sattva is total positivity. Rajas is partial positivity. Tamas is total negativity. The body and mind cannot touch the consciousness ever. And I am that.
Our guest on this episode is a banker turned monk. He moved from a stressful and competitive corporate career to helping others reduce stress and find tranquility and steadiness in their own lives. Very pleased to have with us in the studio, Swami Shekharanand. Welcome on Buzz, by the way.
So nice. Thank you for inviting me for this podcast.
It's a pleasure.
I'm indeed honored as well.
You've just authored a book, How to Lead a Tranquil Life. And throughout this podcast, I want to talk to you about that book, the various formulas that you suggest, and the various approaches you look at. Because I know that you apply the teachings of Advaita Vedanta to help find this sort of formula for calm and peace and to shift from reactive living to conscious living. Is that
Right.
essentially what you do? So is it really easy to lead a tranquil life?
It's easy if you're serious.
Okay.
You have to be serious, first of all, of wanting to be in a state of tranquility. If you're not serious and simply say, I want peace, but you continue to engage in all of the things that the mundane world demands of you and you want to still continue with the race, then you're not really serious. When you say, get tranquility, it appears as though the tranquility is somewhere far from me. That's the mistake people all do. You go in search of peace. You don't have to search in peace at all because peace is always part of you. It's like, I have my spectacles and I, by mistake, put it here and I go on searching for spectacles all over the place. It's with me. Therefore, that is what we call as misplaced search. So most of the people are doing misplaced search for peace, happiness, and security. These three things. We call it as security, peace, and happiness, SPH.
Security, peace, happiness.
Yeah, happiness. All three are not to be searched at all. In fact, my formula is very simple. Where the search ends is where the peace is. So if you stop searching, you have it.
Stop searching, you have it. Very beautifully put. And I like the analogy used of your glasses. It's all actually within you. It's not something that you actively go searching for. Right. But throughout, I want to talk to you about this book. In this book, do you help people improve the relationship with themselves and also change the perspective from which they see stress?
It's not just only about stress. If you change the outlook about yourself and about the world, everything comes to an end. And in that end, automatically you'll see peace and no stress at all. In fact, I run a course. It's a training program. It's called the Mind Management Training. It's an 8-week training program. In that, there is a portion of that teaching has a new concept called corporate yoga. It is a very new concept where we actually dovetail the Vedic prescriptions and understanding to address 10 of the most important competencies for a manager to stretch without stress. That's the theme of that training program. So because most of the people, particularly corporate worlds, they think they're performing well. but actually none of the corporates is performing well. Nobody is performing well, even though they may have accomplished a target, which could be 10, 15% over last year and what have you. You haven't performed well. You're still underperforming, is what I'm telling people.
Why? Because they don't have peace of mind?
No, no, no. The methodology used for targeting itself is wrong.
Okay.
So if I say that last year you produced, let's say, 100 units of sales, and me as a management of the company, overall, I have decided that I want to grow 15%. So I need to collect the 15%. So what I'm doing is basically 100 plus 15, 115, that gets distributed amongst all the business heads, and then they cascade that down into a certain percentage. And then it comes to you, and the boss will say, okay, you performed last year 10, 100, you make now 115. So all of these deltas will get added, and you reach that, whatever the overall target of the company has been established at. But the truth is that target which the company did was based on market, only market. How much can I get in terms of market share, considering markets, the competition, my own products, acceptability, my new products, all of that put together, I decide a number. Plus, of course, I have my own internal requirements saying I did this much profit, let me do this much more profit. So all of this put together is the target. And then I brought it down. I have never looked at the potential of the individuals who are supposed to deliver that. So this is a concept called potential gap or performance gap. So you can perform up to 30, but I myself told you, do 15, because adding up all the 15s, I can reach my targeted figure. So have I not already underestimated your target?
Yes.
I haven't given you the right target. I've given you the wrong target.
Right.
Because your potential to perform is up to 30.
Right.
But I already capped it at 15. Why would you stretch up to 30? That's called potential gap. And potential gap cannot be assessed by human beings of other human beings. And even if you have potential of 30, you are unable to perform 30 because of tremendous amount of environmental issues that causes stress for you. So what this program really does is, how do you really not overcome stress, but never create the stress at all? Managing stress is not what we want. We want to get complete elimination of stress. And that's very possible.
Is it?
It is
But
possible.
isn't some amount of stress important for life?
Why should you have stress?
I mean, again, for performance, to keep safe in the situation, somewhere you need a little bit just so that you keep safe.
You mean you want stress to be your push factor?
Well, some people say that's important.
No, not at all. I don't agree with that at all. You can push yourself without any stress at all. So that's why most of the corporates want the top leadership to engage in some meditation program or some other activities. But all of these are basically escape route. Because when you get into meditation and not realizing what really the meditation is all about and what it should deliver, I'm just going and relaxing for some time and coming back to the same square one. The thought that I have, which is really the impediment for me to perform well, has not been taken out. The meditation that we practice today is a farce, absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely. This is not meditation at all. It's a form of relaxation. Meditation in its real form basically must include my life's problem. Where does that take into account? Today in a meditation where you pay for it and teachers come and say, sit down in one place, beautiful ambience, nice lighting, dim lighting, lovely music, some spa environment, and make you to sit and listen to some music. This is called meditation. And you're relaxing. Sure, this will have an effect. How much effect? 5% of what a real meditation should do, that's what it is giving you. Besides, once you go out of this, you're back to that same damn thing because you haven't eliminated what is really causing this problem for you. Why do you have to go to meditation? This is my question. Because meditation is not understood correctly. Meditation really means not to go thoughtless as is being prescribed. Because these are all fancy stuff. And that's what all of you people like. If it cannot cure the ills of your day-to-day life, it is not meditation.
So the purpose of meditation really should be to remove your vasanas and sanskaras, to talk in a very Vedantic way.
That is too far already. Let's just talk in simple things. Every day I'm having issues at home. Small things. Budget has come. We know now these things are going to cost more. You already start planning. My numbers are not adding up. How are we going to do? How are we going to manage? One says you do this, you cut down. So let's say if you're in a marriage situation or with children. One says you have to cut this down. Other says, no, I cannot do this. There's already a conflict that starts in the house, right? Now, when there is conflict, do you think there's peace?
No.
Don't you take that conflict into your organization when you go home, when you go to the work? Because that's what is coming in your head. You can't focus. Then your output is only 30%. So what we want to do in meditation, basically, meditation means contemplation, introspection.
Yes.
Think, not go thoughtless. We're not interested in that.
Contemplation.
Contemplation. Contemplate on what?
The higher consciousness.
Oh, no need for all that. That's
Okay.
last. First, let's solve our problem, which is there in front of me. I have this much money. I need to solve this. How am I doing that without a quarrel at home? That is meditation. Taking real life into account, which means you're constantly thinking throughout the day up to the time you got a solution. Meditation must have a starting point and an end point.
So you have a very different take on meditation from
This is the right take.
So it's really to think about things and solve the issues in front of you.
Because if I don't solve my issues first, what consciousness I want to learn about?
Well, that's true. That is one way
Should we not fix this first?
Yeah.
Let's fix this first, then we go to consciousness.
So, I want to talk to you a little bit about your own journey. You were a banker, high-level banker, stressful corporate job.
Yeah.
What made you become a Swamiji, renounce everything?
Actually, stress wasn't the reason for me to become a monk. I became a monk by choice. No one asked me to become a monk at all. And in fact, the Vedic scriptures that I have studied and I preach now, nowhere it says that you have to become a monk to learn all this. It's a big, misnomer here.
Okay.
In fact, to learn Vedas, best ashram is called the Grahastha ashram. शादी में रहते हुए, फैमिली में रहते हुए सीखना ही सही जगह है. ऐसे भगवद गीता में क्या हुआ है? It says there clearly, Grahastha ashram is the best ashram. You don't have to take sannyas at all.
So, I want to get back to your book a little bit. And the fact that what makes it authentic is it's how to lead a tranquil life. And you yourself have come from a high-stress corporate life and then moved to this life of monkhood, which makes the book very relatable. Right. But was there any incident that made you suddenly move?
No. You see, this book has various different topics that I've covered. Essentially, it is broken into two sections, if you will, the both of which must be understood by someone who is born as a human being. But before doing that, I'm going to ask you, since you asked me so many questions, if you permit me, I'll ask you one question. Whatever age that you are, have you ever asked one question up to now? Why you were born as a human being?
Yes, I have asked.
And what answer you got?
I mean, it's something I keep asking, and the answer I get is that ultimately we are spiritual beings. I think you're born as a human being because, you're endowed with a higher intellect to realize a higher consciousness, to realize something bigger than yourself, your physical body, than the material world. I think that's why you take human birth.
That's one part of it. I would say, okay, but it's only 50% of the answer. The real reason why you take a birth as a human being is human beings are the only species which has the entitlement, if you can say that, and the ability to realize the truth. And once that realization takes place, we say that you can end the cycle of birth and death. Now, that cycle of birth and death cannot be understood by the other species.
No.
It is very well understood by the God, but the God are not entitled to this. They don't have this entitlement. They have to be reborn as human beings, then go through the karma, and then they have to have the same realization that other people have realized and reached a state of moksha or nirvana.
Yes.
So now I'm going to tell you the reason why we are born is because we have been given that privilege to be able to end the cycle of birth and death. Okay, so that is one. So this part is very much emphasized in this book. And to be able to get to this state, you need two issues to be understood about yourself itself. So as you know, you said something very well, and I think people should also understand that we don't need a spiritual journey at all to attain the sort of the ultimate called the nirvana, because there is nothing called attainment. Nirvana is not attained. No one can attain nirvana. Again, because the moment you say, I want to attain moksha, तो आपने क्या बोला सर? मुझे निर्वाणा चाहिए. इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि that nirvana or moksha somewhere outside. Nirvana, moksha कहीं पे भी नहीं. हम ही है nirvana. Look, the words I'm using. We are moksha.
We are moksha.
We are moksha. We don't need to go for moksha. This realization, the understanding that we are liberated always is moksha. That realization. But to realize that, you have to know that we are basically made up of two things: spiritual and material. So there is a matter principle and the spirit principle. You must know though that matter is always part of the spirit. So which means spirit is all over. Inside there is matter principle, which is the energy principle. So you are also the same thing. This is the configuration. Now, you said something which I really liked. You said, we are spiritual being. When you are a spiritual being, why should you have a spiritual journey? You don't need one. The realization that
That's
I am,
what I said. Yeah.
the realization that I am a spiritual being going through a human experience. If you get that clear, that is nirvana. Finished.
Well,
I don't need any more nirvana. All right?
Yes.
Okay. So this book basically tells you about the matter principle and the spirit principle, that which you are made up of. Matter principle, if you don't know, then you can never understand the spirit principle. First of all, everyone must understand, what am I? You have heard this famous statement.
Yeah.
Who am I? Who am I? That statement you must have heard.
Yes.
Who am I? Who am I? ऐसा बोलते जाते हैं सारे सन्यासी साधु संत लोग. Who am I? क्या? What is who am I? Nobody tells us what who am I is. But to know who am I, even to question who am I must know what am I. The what am I is emphasized in this book. Because what am I is all to do with your body and mind, which is what you're using in the functional world. The instrument that you're using in the world is your body and mind. You're not using the spirit. You cannot go and say, I'm the spirit, I'm the spirit. You have to say, I am Anushka, I am this, I am that. That is all about the matter principle.
Yeah.
Do you know what you're in matter side? If I may ask you.
In matter.
In the matter side of you.
You're the elements, you're the five elements.
The best is we talk to each other, and whoever is listening, they'll also immediately understand. When I ask you, Anushka, what are you? Not who are you. What are you first?
Well, we're the five elements in different configurations. That's what we are. That is the body. Then you have the different sheets. I mean, if you go deep into Vedanta, then you have the different sheets. Right? You have the gross body, you have the breath body, you have the Manomaya Kosha, the Jnanamaya Kosha.
Very nice.
Well, that's going deep into Vedanta. And then you have the bliss sheet, which ultimately is your higher consciousness.
Excellent. But इससे क्या हुआ आपको? I'm questioning so that we make this conversation interesting, right?
Yes.
So the principle that I like to preach to everyone is this. Don't accept anything for the face value. Wherever it comes from, whoever it comes from. Today you may have an imagination about me, maybe. Let's say, my God, ये साधु है, संत है, Canada से आए हुए, my God, he must be a big. I say, even though you may have a perception about you, when I say something, don't take it in the literal sense of it. Question. And in spiritual world, really there is no authority. And what does authority do to you? Please remember this point. When I come and say something and you accept me as the authority, you are literally betraying yourself. The ability to understand is being betrayed by you because I told you, do this. There's nothing called doing this when we talk about truth. And specifically, when I come to you and I say, this is the truth, that's not truth. Finished. Because that's the truth I'm teaching you from the way I have understood the truth. While truth cannot be distorted by anybody, it has to be always the same. So let's going back to that part of your body. I am now asking you, what was the idea of your knowing about this Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha? So what is it doing to you?
Well, because ultimately, you know, there's something deeper than the material body.
ठीक बात है, लेकिन आई एम यूजिंग माई बॉडी. आई वॉन्ट टू नो, स्वामी जी प्लीज टेल मी, यू आर सेइंग लर्न अबाउट मी, व्हाट अबाउट मी, what am I must know. I must tell you now the answer to that question, which is covered in great details in the book. If I ask you one question again, who do you think is controlling you from the time you're woken up to the time you go to bed? If I ask you that question, what is in your head? What answer will you give me?
I don't know, your mind, your karma, your tendencies, vasanas.
And if I say it's a 3-letter word,
God.
I wanted that. And I'm going to tell you, God is not at all controlling you in anything of you. In no aspect of your life, He is controlling you. So then who is controlling me? That is not a 3-letter word, but I'm using it as a 3-letter word because it's an acronym made up of S, R, and T.
Yes, I read this part.
Yes. So the SRT is playing all the mischief in you. All the good in you is all done by the SRT. Now, what is this SRT? This what am I is that SRT.
The subtle reactive tendencies you've written in your book.
Yes. So sattva, rajas, tamas. ये हम हिंदी में या संस्कृत में इसको हम बोलते हैं गुनास. गुनाह का एक डायरेक्ट इंग्लिश ट्रांसलेशन वर्ड नहीं है. सो हम इधर उधर के खोज वोज करके उसको ऐसा फिट किया, उसको बोला कि ये एनर्जी प्रोपेंसिटी है. एनर्जी नहीं है, एनर्जी प्रोपेंसिटी है. दैट वन विच कॉजेस द पॉजिटिव, नेगेटिव एंड न्यूट्रल एनर्जी इज दिस गुनास. सो व्हाट डज इट डू? एक्चुअली गुनास determine the way you think, you act, you talk, you behave, your habits, your character. Every little thing that you do. अभी आप सोचेंगे कि मैंने कहा from the time you are being woken up and put to sleep. अब इसका मतलब कैसा होगा? तो साइंस तो बोलेगा you are sleeping because there is melatonin.
Tamas.
मेलाटोनिन.
Yes.
दैट केमिकल्स, लोगों को सब केमिकल्स की जरूरत है, एविडेंस की जरूरत है. तो मेरा क्वेश्चन साइंस के लिए ये है, मेलाटोनिन को ट्रिगर करने वाला कौन है? आपने बोला सही है, बिल्कुल करेक्ट. मेलाटोनिन पुट्स यू टू स्लीप, बट मेलाटोनिन ऑल्सो डजंट पुट मेनी पीपल टू स्लीप बिकॉज मेलाटोनिन एक्ट्स बेस्ड ऑन सनलाइट, लाइट बेसिकली, लाइट प्रिंसिपल. लेकिन कई लोग ऐसे हैं सारी रात वो जगते रहते हैं, लाइट होने के बावजूद, लाइट बंद होने के बावजूद, काम है उसके लिए. तो मेलाटोनिन कहां से आ गया? सोचने वाली बात है. अभी देखिए तो कौन आपको उठा रहा है, कौन आपको सुला रहा है? सुलाने वाला चीज है सत्व, रजस, तमस. अब आप तमस मत बोलिए. तमस इज प्लेइंग अ डोमिनेंट रोल टू स्टार्ट द इनिशिएशन ऑफ द स्लीप. बट व्हेन यू गो इनटू डीप स्लीप, सत्व, रजस, तमस इक्विलिब्रियम स्टेट में हो जाता है. वो डीप स्लीप है, वो कोई केमिकल नहीं. ये अंदर से काम कर रहा है, माइंड के अंदर से. सत्व, रजस, तमस, इक्विलिब्रियम, डीप स्लीप, आनंद पूरा. अब समय आ गया उठने का. ये कौन उठा रहा है आपको? वो बोलेगा कार्टिजोल. परफेक्टली करेक्ट. माय क्वेश्चन इज हु इज ट्रिगरिंग कार्टिजोल? वी हैव टू नो दैट. रजस नहीं. अच्छी बात है. नहीं, रजस का काम उठाना, ड्राइव करना है. लेकिन क्या होता है उस समय में? एक स्मॉल बैंग ऐसा हो जाता है। आपने बिग बैंग थियरी तो सुना होगा।
हाँ.
तो बिग बैंग थियरी जो है वो यूनिवर्सल लेवल में होता है। जैसे कि बहुत बहुत साल पहले यहाँ पे एक सिचुएशन था, उसको हम सिंगुलैरिटी बोलते हैं फिजिक्स में। सिंगुलैरिटी मीन्स आई डोंट नो व्हाट इज देयर। उसके बाद वो बिग बैंग आता है। तो ये बिग बैंग करके वर्ड कैसा हुआ? लिटरली देयर इज अ बैंग दैट इज टेकिंग प्लेस। इट्स नथिंग बट फ्रिक्शन बिटवीन रजस एंड तमस एट अ ग्लोबल यूनिवर्सल स्केल। हर रोज रात को जब हम सो जाते हैं तो डिसोल्यूशन स्टेट है वो। जैसे पूरी दुनिया डिसॉल्व होके पोटेंशियल फॉर्म में जाता है, उसी प्रकार इंडिविजुअल्स ऑल्सो गो इनटू पोटेंशियल स्टेट एवरी नाइट। मतलब सत्व और रजस तमस एकदम शांत, माइंड और बॉडी पोटेंशियल स्टेट। मतलब है लेकिन पोटेंशियल फॉर्म में। इट विल नॉट फंक्शन। सीड जैसे सीड होगा, सीड इज नॉट फंक्शनिंग, बट सीड को उभर के जब आता है तभी वो इट कम्स आउट। सो एवरी नाइट बॉडी एंड माइंड गो इनटू द सीड फॉर्म। अगला दिन जब भी आपका कर्मा को मेच्योर हो जा रहा है, आपको कर्मा करना पड़ेगा ना अगला दिन।
Yes.
तो वो समय जब भी आएगा, रजस और तमस के बीच में फ्रिक्शन आएगा और एक स्मॉल बैंग आएगा, आप झटके से उठ जाएंगे। यही कारण है कि हर रोज आप 6 बजे नहीं उठते हैं। जब भी वो मेच्योरिटी दिखाएगा कर्मा परफॉर्म करने के लिए, उस समय आएगा। फोर्स्ड वेकिंग अप इज डिफरेंट, बट नॉर्मली इफ यू से you'll get up at 6 o'clock, sometimes 6:15. This variation is coming because this maturity is being announced inside at a particular time. When you will wake up from potential form, you come out and start karma.
So, Swamiji, I appreciate all this, but we need to simplify, the conversation.
Correct.
So that the regular audience
Right.
also that may not be familiar with Vedanta can even understand
Sure.
things. So I want to get down to, basic things in your book, basic observations in your book, basic insights that you have mentioned in your book, right? For a regular person who may not be so steeped in Vedanta to actually read A Tranquil Life. Yes, you have explained the 3 gunas. And you said that every decision, every reaction, every misunderstanding has something to do with the proportions of these forces, these 3 gunas in us.
Right.
So just to simplify it for the audience, sattva is in the nature of characterized by harmony, peace.
Right.
Rajas is activity,
Yes.
ambition.
Right. Absolutely.
Tamas is inertia.
Right. Just the opposite of rajas.
Yes, opposite.
Yeah.
And it could
Right.
be negativity,
Absolutely.
inertia. So everything on earth is a mix of these 3
Different
gunas.
proportions.
Different proportions
Yes.
of these 3 gunas.
Right.
Some people have more sattva, some people have more rajas. Some people are excessively lazy or they're going through a bad time. They have more tamas if they're depressed or whatever it is.
Right.
So from what I understand in your book, you say that we have to all move towards more sattva in us.
Correct. Absolutely.
So simply put, how would one do that?
First, before that, you have to know that sattva, rajas, tamas, the SRT factors, are not under the purview of karma as a whole. Because karma controls a lot of things. But you have the free will to reconfigure this SRT.
Yes.
This you have to understand.
Yeah.
So when you know that S does this, R does this, and T does this, which we have just now nicely explained, then I want to take another example to understand this a little even better. So let's say on the 31st of a year, you decide, I want to keep a good health. This thought of wanting to have a good health is sattva. But just the thought doesn't matter to you. It will not make you get that good health, right? So there has to be a driving force behind, and that is the R. So obviously you require R for you to get up and go and sign up in the gym. That all part is done by R. In combination with S, because S is the one who said, please keep your good health. Then you go to the gym, you sign up. Everything is done. Then you come home. Then you start, tomorrow I have to go to gym. उठते उठते 8 बज गया. नहीं, tomorrow, day after tomorrow will start. ये तमस आ गया. The one who's creating the opposite force as of rajas is the tamas. So now you know what these 3 fellows are doing. If you want a good health, you need sattva and rajas. Say yeah?
Yes.
So assuming You are in the same state of the third day of January when you, having signed up, you decide not to go. Now, do you know this or not? You know you have to go, and then you're not going. So we use what we call as the awareness principle. We are aware of everything in this world. This is the truth. हालांकि हम बोलते हैं जाने अनजाने, ऐसा कुछ होता ही नहीं. जाने अनजाने वर्ड हैज टू गो, बिकॉज सब जानते हैं आप. ये इग्नोर करना अनजाना नहीं होता है. मैंने इग्नोर कर दिया, हाँ मैंने पैर लगा दिया अनजाने में. नहीं नहीं नहीं, आपको जानना चाहिए वहां पे जम होगी तो यू शुड नॉट स्टैंड. सो यहां पे क्या हुआ, आपको जानते हैं तो अवेयरनेस जो है उसको वहां पे लाना कि मुझे जाना है, इसलिए तो मैंने साइन अप किया. सो थॉमस, शट अप, I need to go now. And that ability we have.
We have that ability, that free will.
Absolutely.
So it's not that everything is dictated by karma. We have our free will, and we have to exercise our free will. That's when we can change the proportion of these three within us.
Incidentally, the proportion totals to 100. Always it has to remain 100. Which means that if I push the thumbs down, rajas या sattva ऊपर जाना है total के लिए 100 बनने के लिए. Typically sattva won't go because sattva is a rare commodity. बहुत कम है हमारे पास. Sattva is total positivity. Rajas is partial positivity. Tamas is total negativity. So sattva is important for you. How do you develop sattva? एक है भक्ति. भक्ति से सत्व को आप उठा सकते हैं. लेकिन भक्ति अलोन ने कांस्टेंट अवेयरनेस कि मुझे सत्व चाहिए, ये मेडिटेशन होता है. अभी आपने पूछा मेडिटेशन, ये मेडिटेशन एक प्रैक्टिस है, उसको हम कहते हैं कर्म योगा प्रैक्टिस. ये 5 है उसके अंदर प्रिस्क्रिप्शन. ये 5 प्रिस्क्रिप्शन को डेली मिनट बाय मिनट अगर आप सोचते सोचते काम करेंगे, सत्व बिल्कुल ऊपर चला जाएगा. एंड सत्व के साथ वो ऑरा बोलते हैं ना, वही है सत्व. जैसे ही वो इंसान आया, माय गॉड ये क्या आदमी है, ये कहां से आ रहा है, वो पूरा सत्व है. उसके अंदर सत्व रजस है ही नहीं. तो गॉड हम जिसके ऊपर हम प्रेयर करते हैं वो प्रिडोमिनेंटली सत्व है उनके पास रजस और तमस भी, लेकिन
प्रिडोमिनेंटली सत्व. सो आई थिंक भक्ति, emotional anchoring, bhakti as in devotion, that helps you cultivate sattva. And you have to consciously make sattvic choices.
Yes.
एक सकारात्मक भाव रखना है हमेशा.
Absolutely. हर चीज के लिए,
हर चीज के लिए.
हाँ.
So that is the one way of really cultivating, increasing the proportion of sattva in your life. It's a very conscious choice.
सात्विक कर्मा में यह होता है कि हम सबसे पहले जो भी काम करना चाहते हैं सोच से स्टार्ट, बिकॉज सोच प्रीसीड्स ऑल एक्शंस. सोच में हम हमेशा बोलते हैं इस काम की वजह से हजारों लोगों का फायदा होना है, ये मैंने सोच लिया. वो हुआ या नहीं वो बाद में, सोच मैंने किया ऐसा, फिर काम उसी तरह से करेंगे हम. सोच अगर ऐसा हो गया, वाणी ऐसा हो जाएगा, वाणी ऐसा हो जाएगा तो काम, हाथ का काम हुए. इट स्टार्ट्स विद सात्विक थॉट्स. हर चीज में अगर आप करते जाएंगे, मैं चैलेंज करता हूं, कैसे आपको प्रॉब्लम आएगा बताओ मुझे. पूरा अंदर से भरा पड़ा है मेरे पास सत्व. सत्व हेल्प्स यू टू हील इनसाइड प्रॉब्लम्स.
So that is really the secret of it, to consciously make that effort to be, तो सोच को सात्विक बनाना.
Through awareness.
कर्म भी सात्विक हो जाएगा.
हर चीज में सात्विक.
हर चीज में.
हाँ.
So you give an example in your book that a high achieving individual who constantly felt anxiety despite success was always planning the next achievement, yet never content, could not enjoy rest without guilt or fear of falling behind. So why is this? Because he had excess rajas and no sattva in his life.
ये रजस, desire itself is rajas.
Yes.
हम सत्व रजस तमस इन भगवत गीता में मोर देन 18 सेक्शंस में दिखा हुआ है.
हाँ.
हर चीज के लिए, खाने में रजस, प्रेयर में रजस, काम में रजस. ये रजस इन काम, उसकी वजह से ही इज ऑलवेज रेस्टलेस.
But you need rajas. You need something of all the gunas.
मैंने रजस नहीं कभी कहा ही नहीं.
Yes.
बट कितना प्रोपोर्शन चाहिए ना.
Proportion.
बिकॉज रजस ऐसा नहीं है कि रजस एकदम बहुत गुड़ी है. रजस के साथ अदर कंपोनेंट्स, अटेंडेंट कंपोनेंट्स जो है वो बड़े खतरनाक चीज होता है. ईगो इज पार्ट ऑफ रजस. द इगोटिस्टिक फीलिंग
Yeah.
Pride, narcissism, self, deception. These are all part of rajas. You don't want these. So when you're increasing rajas for action purposes, because you can't be lethargic if you want to perform action, but you must be conscious of this also, saying, I must do rajas only for action. I don't need this other ego part, narcissism, pride. ये नहीं चाहिए मुझे. That also is aware through awareness. जब काम ही करना है, वो प्राइड की क्या जरूरत है? सो सत्व और रजस जब भी मिक्स हो जाएगा करेक्ट प्रोपोर्शन में, ईगो निकल जाएगा और सिर्फ मेरा काम दूसरों के लिए हो जाएगा.
So, Swamiji, I want to end with a couple of things. We've spoken a lot about these gunas, and essentially, from what I understand, is how you lead a tranquil life is to increase sattva in your life, and that is a conscious choice. And you've said practical ways of, in everything that you do, whether you're making tea for a loved one, your thought process should be such, you infuse that with good, positive energy, positive thoughts, and love. You say something in your book about the illusion of I will be peaceful when. So we have this illusion of tranquility being conditional. I will be happy when I get a raise. Or, a young woman will say, when I get a rich husband. Things like that. So if you can tell us about this whole illusion and how actually you cannot make it, tranquility cannot be conditional.
It is true. Because a fulfilled person is always in the state of tranquil. So if you keep constantly having desire, then the unfulfillment will make you desire for more, or will also put you in despair. You're going to be upset, you're not going to be happy. So it's always a constant struggle to meet more and more and more and more and things. And why do you do that? You come to a nice conclusion right now. We're going to talk about the who am I part. We talked about what am I? That's your sattva rajas, managing your body and action. This who am I is going to fix all the other problems.
Okay.
What is this who am I? We all think that we are functioning with this body and mind. Therefore, this is all it. But we must know you can do nothing in this world in the absence of the consciousness. Nothing. Nothing means zero.
Yes.
Basically, without the consciousness, this body and mind is a dead piece of wood. Literally, it's like good for nothing. So in the presence of consciousness, you do it. So when we say you want to be in tranquility, you need to shift this thinking that I am the body and the mind, because it is by itself not having an independent existence. Body and mind is depending on the consciousness for its basic survival. Because when do you declare somebody dead? When he becomes totally unconscious and he cannot be retrieved. What does it tell you? That means only when there is consciousness, you are alive. This is very clear? So now, even though you may have gone, that consciousness which was supporting you during this life is still there, because it's supporting all the various other people and the world to keep continuing. So this is nirantaram. It is never going to end. Consciousness will never come to an end. It will always be there. Now, if I say you are made up of body, mind, and consciousness, firstly, everybody must understand these are three different distinct entities, like three sides to a coin. One side is body, another side is the mind. All around is consciousness. Now you got the whole picture. Your body and mind is inside that. Now you have to understand, I have two basic elements in me with which I am working. One is the body and mind, one is consciousness. Now you tell me between the two, which is real, which is false. If you don't want to, I'll straight away tell you the answer.
Consciousness is real.
Yeah, you have to tell me why. You can't just
because that enlivens your body and mind.
Wonderful answer. And to prove that, if you go to the deep sleep state, you don't even know you're alive. The body and mind is not there. You don't know that there's a body and mind. Correct? But are you dead or are you still alive?
You're alive.
Exactly. Because you wake up in the next morning, right?
Yes.
What does it tell you basically? That to live, I don't need the body and mind. Agreed? To live, I don't need the body. For functioning, I may need the body and mind. So this is just functional requirement. It will come and go. What is really myself? That is the consciousness.
Okay.
So I want you to shift from body-mind focus into the consciousness. This consciousness basically does not discriminate anybody. Now, if you start thinking yourself as the consciousness, will you make a difference between me and him or anything in this world? You will not, because it is undifferentiating substance. Now I am the consciousness, entire world belongs to me. I will not blame anyone, whatever you do. I will take it just like that. I will embrace it. Because I'll just say, वो अज्ञान है वो, इसलिए वो कर रहा है. मैं ज्ञानी हूं, वो ही है वो ज्ञानी. जब ये स्थिति में आप आ जाएंगे, nobody can disturb you with anything that they want to try. Because I'm only watching everybody do things as a witness consciousness. This is in basically being done as a selfish interest so that I won't be disturbed because I still have the body and mind. तो ये बॉडी एंड माइंड को डिस्टर्ब नहीं करना है तो हम सीधा यहाँ से इधर आ गए, बॉडी माइंड से कॉन्शियसनेस में आ गए. आपके साथ मैं बात कर रहा हूँ, करते करते आपने कुछ गलत बोल दिया, ठीक है, बिकॉज आप मुझे टच ही नहीं कर सकते हैं, बिकॉज द बॉडी एंड माइंड कैन नॉट टच द कॉन्शियसनेस एवर, एंड आई एम दैट. सो हाउ पीसफुल आई एम गोइंग टू बी. Nobody can do anything to me because I'm all the time thinking throughout. That is my meditation. I am the consciousness. I am the consciousness. Nobody can touch me. Nobody can touch me. यही बोलता रहता हूँ. आप कुछ भी करो, कुछ भी बोलो, ऐसा वैसा, बिल्कुल मुझे प्रॉब्लम नहीं आएगा क्योंकि I say that you don't even exist without me. मैं अगर आपको एक्सेप्ट किया कॉन्शियसनेस के थ्रू, you are there. Otherwise you don't even live. For me, you don't live unless I accept it. So therefore, when you're dependent on me for existence, should I not embrace you? Take the example of a gold and ornament.
Yes.
You know that example, right?
Yeah.
Gold is the substratum. Without the gold, ornament cannot exist.
Of course.
ठीक है, ऐसे ही मैं बोलता हूँ, without me, you cannot exist.
So consciousness is the substratum of the entire
universe.
And so you're saying, simply put, that if we identify ourselves not as a body, mind, intellect, but as pure consciousness, as pure bare awareness, then all our problems are overcome, nothing can touch us, and we can reach more sattva and more tranquility.
But the idea that why does the desire come in, where does it come from? That's a subject matter in itself. But in short, I can say, nobody is suffering because of desire. But because we need to know where the desire comes from. Desire comes from ignorance. Ignorance of what? Ignorance of fact that this world is duality world. I am one and the world is another. We treat that way. When that comes into the picture, then I start making comparisons. When there is a comparison, there will be contradictions, conflicts. All that will come in duality. But I just now explained to you, when I'm a consciousness, there is no duality at all.
No duality.
I'm in the singularity state, right? In that, what comparison I'll do? Everything is you. The desire is me. The fulfillment of desire, that is also me. Non-fulfillment of desire is also me. Everything is me. So what should I desire for? You tell me. I'm consciousness. So now as an individual, whenever you are entering into a work, enter into the work by saying, I'm a fulfilled person, that I'm consciousness. Then you start your work. हाँ, बीच में ऊपर नीचे वो तो होगा ही, क्योंकि the other fellow doesn't understand these things. तो उसको लिए भी लीवे दे दो. Then see how your life is.
Okay, in short, that is a secret to leading a tranquil life.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Swami Ji.
Bless
On
you,
that
Acha.
note,
Bless
thank you so much for your presence
Blessing
and
you. Bless
for
you.
your wisdom.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.